I come to you with some breaking news. As of a couple of hours ago, Gibson hit us with a felt cute might delete CEO, and then did. Effective immediately, the Gibson CEO for the last 5 years, JC Curleigh, has stepped down from the position and has been replaced. Now this was surprising, it wasn't expected, and I wanted to see if there were any warning signs, any indication that JC was looking to move on to greener pastures. So I looked at different interviews and talks he had done. I found one that was relatively recent in 2022, June of 2022, where he compared Gibson's revival to that of the Beatles, which, you know, I could see that. Half dead, haven't released anything new in years. I'm sorry, I had to. I also found a talk that he had done in September of 2022.
What needed to happen to Gibson before I even got here. The quality had eroded, the prices went up, they took their eye off the ball, they took on debt and sunk the Gibson ship. Repair the ship, fix the quality, balance your prices, go back to what made you famous in the first place, and then start to think about leading again.
And both these interviews had a similarity. He wasn't talking about how he was building Gibson back up, or Gibson was getting there, or how he was going about it. It was Gibson was fixed. It was done. Gibson was revived. The job was done. And Gibson do seem to think that too, at least on how I interpreted their press release. They're talking about they're in a very strong position, which they weren't. So evidently the job has been done. And does it make sense for a company to keep on a probably very expensive CEO who specializes in reviving companies when the company is revived? Probably not. Somewhat off topic, but I can't pass this without mentioning it. In that talk, which I'd never seen before, and I'm never going to get a chance to laugh at it again, so may as well do it now, there are some absolute gems.
We innovated this new guitar, it's called the Player Port, where basically if you play guitar, if you know a guitarist, as you're learning and playing, you see people leaning into the sound hole. Ooh, let me hear myself better. It's like, why do you have to do that 100 years later after the invention of the guitar? So we put one of the sound holes on the top, if you can see there, whereas you're playing, it comes out of the top and you hear more of yourself. How simple is that? A hole is the most innovative thing we've done in acoustic guitars.
I'd laugh too, because Gibson did not innovate that. That's a feature that Gibson introduced in 2022. Monitoring ports on acoustic guitars have been done by many brands and builders years prior. There was no innovation there. You just took a feature that was already being done. Okay, but who's the new guy? Who's going to replace JC? Well, he's not a new guy. He's been with Gibson for about as long as JC has. It's Gibson's brand president, or I suppose formerly the brand president, Cesar. It also says in this press release that he was the interim chief executive officer, so he was the CEO when the CEO wasn't around, which begs the question, when was the CEO not around? Maybe this was in the pipeline for a while. Who knows? So chairman of Gibson's board of directors said, "We are transitioning to new leadership at a time of strength to ensure the company continues its momentum and is well positioned to execute on its next phase of growth." Kind of reads a little bit like, don't worry shareholders, it's going to be fine. We're very strong. But, you know, maybe they are. Maybe the new CEO will do well because he's a guitar player, and that's always a good start in a guitar company. A little bit more on Cesar. They say, Cesar has played a huge role in the company's recent successes, including securing critical artist partnerships and overseeing the evolution of many of our most iconic product lines, and the board has full confidence in his leadership. Yeah, no, I was right. This is a stockholders, don't worry. Cesar goes on to, you know, do the Oscar award. Thank you. On behalf of the board, I want to thank JC for helping to return Gibson to its status as an iconic brand over the last 5 years. So there's the same thing. Gibson are back, baby. Woo. Instead of we're still getting Gibson back. JC's statement, he left a paragraph too. "It has been a privilege to lead Gibson, and I am tremendously proud of what we accomplished as a team. I am ready for my next challenge and want to thank the board and the Gibson team for the opportunity to guide this company. I look forward to seeing all they will accomplish in the future." As for the future of Gibson, I personally doubt anything will change, realistically. Cesar has been with Gibson for 5 years. It's what Gibson have been doing for 5 years is still very much what Cesar has been doing. So if you're expecting a huge change, don't be expecting one. And also I say that Cesar is a guitar player, and that's good, and it is, but JC was also a guitar player. Remember that Cesar is not being appointed this role because he can shred. He's being appointed it because his background is in asset management in a capital investment firm, growing millions into billions. That's what shareholders want to see. Gibson are a corporation. They're owned by KKR & Co., which is a investment firm as well. They want a return on their money. And Gibson, I think, are still in debt. Most of the debt was actually to KKR & Co. But still. Anyway, that's the quick video. Like it if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to. And I'm going to go to bed. See ya. Bye-bye.